Welcome to the Better Agent Podcast. If you're a real estate agent that's looking to grow your business, then you're in the right place. Whether you want to go from 5 to 10 transactions a year, or 10 to 50 transactions per year, or more, well, then this show is for you. I'm Josh Vik, your host for the Better Agent Podcast, and in each episode, we'll bring you the tools, tips, and tricks directly from myself and some of the best leaders within the real estate industry. We have one goal in mind, and that's to boost your production and elevate your real estate game. Let's dive in and start creating a better real estate experience together. And welcome back to the Better Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Vik, and here we're talking about real estate and how to improve your real estate business, how to get better in your real estate business every single day. And that's what I'm all about. That's what I'm hoping to invite our listeners to be all about, is helping to improve their business and help you grow. And today I'm really excited because I have a great guest with me, Michael Leeson, who's another great agent, is a family man, also has a great successful business. And I think you'll get a lot of insight from our conversation together. Without further ado, I guess I'll kick it off to Michael and let you introduce a little bit more about yourself and share with our listeners a little bit more on your background and why you're here and what you're all about.
Sure thing. Yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate all that you're doing to pour into agents and create this place to gather, share insight, share struggles, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Help us to connect together and just there's enough like competitiveness and challenges all around us. If we can collaborate, pour into each other, I think there's so much opportunity out there. Why not do that together collaboratively? So appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. No, that was my mission from the start of this whole podcast thing. Was like, I didn't know how this was going to go. I just knew that I've been in this business a long time, 20 years, and I just felt like I wanted to give back a little bit more and back into the agent community and connect with other like-minded agents that also had a desire to grow. So that's what I'm all about.
Great.
Too.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah. So you want me to share a little bit about myself and
sorry. Yeah. Some of our listeners, obviously they've heard a little bit of my story many times. I've been in the business 20 years, grew up in the Madison area, and now have a small team. We've got a half a dozen agents on our team and then a couple other admin people. And so we're in the Madison area, but also kind of just looking to grow a little bit beyond that. We're also part of eXp Realty. And so through our network there, we have different collaboration partners in all parts of the country. But anyway, other than that, like I said, I'm always reading a book or talking to people or going to
I'm looking at your bookshelf. I'm like, all right, I'm in traction right now. Is that what I see up there?
Yeah. That's definitely one of the key ones up the pillars. So for anybody listening, if you haven't read the book Traction, Gino Wickman, highly recommended this one. So you can definitely build any business, actually, not just a real estate business. This is like an entrepreneurial kind of booklet, workbook. Basically, you can build any type of business you want using some of the tools and methods within that book. So I've read it several times, and I know several agents and team leaders that I've talked to have really implemented that book into their business as well. And it's really made a huge difference for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Cool. Yeah. I'm digging into it now. Cool. I'll get a reminder. But yeah, and that's just as a point, like that's where I'm at right now, is like refining systems and looking at growth, doing that sustainably and moving from myself being prime producer, solo agent to establishing a team in a place where people can thrive or they can come on board. Expanding out processes and procedures in a way that gets outside of my own head. And I think in the E-Myth, he kind of makes this statement about, I'm going to butcher it, but something along the lines of building extraordinary systems so ordinary people can do extraordinary things. And that's really inspired me. And I'm on the early end of that, of just creating space where people can thrive and expanding out lessons that I've learned along the way, both in this business and in other contexts as well. Appreciate the encouragement on that.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know you super well. I know we've chatted on the phone maybe a handful of times. I don't know if we've done any deals together, but
I'll have to look back. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I know I've definitely shown some of your listings maybe, and maybe you've shown some of mine, but encountered each other in the market, but I don't think we've ever done a deal together. But how long have you been in the real estate business then?
Yeah, so I got licensed in, I think it was late October 2020. So coming up on 5 years. Okay. And that was right. I think if I remember right, my first deal closed.
Yeah.
Was like December 30th of 2020, something like that. It was like right in the height of, we're all like, what is COVID? What's going on? Everything's crazy. Sure. So it was an interesting time to get into the business, right?
Yeah.
So that's when I got licensed, jumped into the real estate business. Prior to that, I'd been involved in real estate from different avenues of doing property management,
Okay.
managing Airbnb, had my own rental property. What else were we doing? So actually my brother-in-law is a broker owner, Dan Spransy. The
Oh,
brokerage that I'm with, Cooper Spransy, Realty
got it.
Executives Cooper Spransy.
Oh, sure.
He's the Spransy on that. So been around real estate for a long time,
Right.
relationally in
He's
different
your
aspects.
brother-in-law?
He's my brother-in-law, yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
So,
I had no
so
idea.
Dan and I go back a little ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so been around it. And then previous to my time in real estate, my wife and I worked in the nonprofit world as missionaries. So we worked with the
Yeah.
ministry for a long time.
Cool.
And our primary roles were as kind of mentors, teachers. So we would train primarily young people ages like 18 to 25. We would run typically a 6-month program, or we would have them on site. We'd have a group of anywhere from 15, 20, 30 people with us over a period of 6 months. We'd be pouring into them a lot of classroom-based learning, foundations for life, growing in relationship with God, all that good stuff. And then we would take them out with us internationally. So we spent a long time working in Haiti, doing a lot of community development projects there. We spent a lot of time in Southern Africa, China, Central Africa, East Africa, Mexico, like all over the world for years.
Yeah.
And then began to, like I said, a heavy emphasis on training and equipping people. And that's the background that I was coming from. And then prior to 2020, my wife and I we felt like the season was changing. It was time for us to pursue some different things. And so simultaneously, I jumped into real estate more from the investment side. So I was working on renovating properties that we were investing in, partners. And then she started to pursue licensing as a midwife. So I jumped into real estate. She jumped into kind of being equipped to something she was passionate about, helping women through birth experience. And then so I joined a real estate team. My good close friend Tony Tucci, worked with him for a few years and learned from some of the best in the business in that process. And then January 2024, my wife and I both launched our own businesses. I went independent as an agent. She launched her midwifery practice. And so it's been fun to grow running our businesses together. And I don't know all the insights for her clients because of privacy laws and whatever, but we know the ins and the outs of the people that she's working with. She knows the people I'm working with. She's, oh, that's the hot tub guy, right? He's the one who wants the jetted tub, or is that?
Yeah.
So we have this kind of, so like she knows who I'm working with. I know who she's working with. We share a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
We share a lot of that around the dinner table too. So our kids gotta get to observe what we're in the mix with. So anyway, that's the background that we're coming from. So when I jumped into the agent side of sales,
sure,
and we did a lot of our own personal fundraising throughout those years. Like we didn't receive a salary. It was like all fundraising based. So sitting across from people, asking them to give, pitching the vision.
As a missionary,
you're right.
Yeah.
Super, super challenging. Having those appointments, setting those up, sitting face to face with people, like it really pushes you to like believe in your vision and know how to have those conversations in an authentic way that doesn't damage relationships as well.
Hey there, hope you're enjoying the show. I just wanted to interrupt real quick and just say that if you want more of this discussion and topic about growth in your real estate business, then I just want to invite you to join us on one of our future masterminds. We do them every week, all the time, either virtually or in person. And you can go to realestateteammastermind.com, learn a little more about that, and sign up to join us on the next call. Again, realestateteammastermind.com. Hope you're enjoying the show. Take care.
Right. So then when I jumped into this business and I was like, hey, give me the leads, like give me the cold leads. I'll call them all day. This is so much easier than personal fundraising. I will dial all day long.
Support me in Africa, or do you know anyone looking to buy or sell any real estate? It's a different conversation here. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's a crisis? Just perspective. And honestly, this is a life thing too. Like what's an actual crisis? Is it that is it that those outlets are ungrounded, or is it that there's people struggling to eat, and that there's a military coup in Haiti? Or there's no burning tires on the streets with this inspection. We're gonna be okay. Let's work through it.
Yeah.
So for some life perspective. But anyway, so that's where we came from. And I think all of that was helpful as I transitioned into real estate. Really, I don't see those as different worlds and different lives. I'm very much bringing all those things into this practice
Yeah.
of pouring into people. You know how it is, where we're counselors and therapists, and we're
Yep.
coaches, and we're investors, and we're financial advisors. We're all those things at once, but
Yeah.
really trust is the currency that we work in. And
Yeah, what I love about just listening to this and hearing you talk about it is you have this background as a missionary and you have this experience of working through kind of some hard conversations, right? You're confronting and
100%.
asking people for money, or you're going on this big trip, or you're even on this trip, and right, and you're like there trying to help a community and help the people within that community, which sometimes maybe they don't want help, or maybe they feel, who are you? What do you think? What are you doing
Yeah,
with me?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So having hard conversations, but in a loving, empathetic, calm manner, that must have been
Totally.
a skill that you had to hone and develop over time. That
100%.
I've never been a missionary before. We are involved in our church and we donate funds to that and everything, but I've not been a missionary nearly to the extent that you have. And so I think what's important to recognize is for agents, for agents out there, that if you're not accustomed to having a lot of sometimes challenging, hard conversations like this, it can be a little bit of a hard business probably. And
Yep.
so
$100%.
I think that definitely equipped you,
Yep.
I would say, to prepare for, oh, I've had hard conversations. No problem. We can
Right.
do this.
We
This
can
is
do
it.
this. Yeah. I mean, that's the core of the practice, right? And people,
Yeah.
like, we can, even as the market shifts, if the market shifts, whatever's
Mhm.
happening with the market, Dane County is a little bit different than the rest of the country, but
Yeah.
expectations are everything.
Yeah.
And operating in integrity and having the willingness. I lost a listing yesterday because I told the sellers the truth. And they were like, some other agents told us this and this. And I was like, hey, I'm here when you need me. I'm here if you need
Yeah.
me. I'm not going to overpromise and underdeliver.
Sure.
And I was helping a new agent who's just getting into the business after transitioning from the corporate world.
Yeah.
And we were talking last week or week before, and he made this comment. He's like, it sounds like expectation setting is a lot of what we do in this business.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be okay.
That was a light bulb moment right there.
Yeah.
If you're not on appointments setting expectations, you're maybe missing the mark somewhere.
Yeah. And you can do it now
Yeah.
and it'll sting, or you can do it later and it's going to really hurt,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep. Yeah, I don't know, something specific that's coming to my mind is, I think one of the things that I do on a listing appointment that I've been doing it for years is, hey, if for some reason this house doesn't sell right away, usually after 2, 3, 4 weeks on the market, if it hasn't sold, then probably something needs to change, right? Whether that's something in the home itself, or maybe the marketing, or maybe the price. And we're going to have a conversation about that price
Yeah.
discussion at that
You're setting
time.
that expectation in advance, right?
Totally. I'm already setting that
Yeah.
expectation. So now suddenly when I call them in 3 weeks, it's, hey, we've been on the market for 3 weeks and we have no showings or no offers or very little, right? Then it's not a huge surprise. And it's also not, they want to be on board with that too, and
100%.
get price advice. We don't want to just act like we're going after a price adjustment because I'm looking for a quick sale. That's not what this
I
is
want to get
about.
paid.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to hurry up and slash the price. I think, and that's where some of what you talked about earlier, right? Approaching a conversation delicately and tactfully. I think it
Yeah.
takes a little bit of nuance and some skill and strong listening skills to just really understand people's perspective. Otherwise, you can risk coming across overly aggressive or.
Yeah, you're springing this. I learned this as a parent, like kids.
Yeah.
My oldest kid is 20. I've got 5 kids. My oldest is
Okay.
21. My youngest is 10. And what I learned over the years that kind of surprised me is that kids can handle anything if they know what to expect.
Sure.
If they understand the vision, if they know why, okay, this is what we're doing. We're
Yep.
going to move, or dad's got to be gone for 2 weeks, or whatever it might be. They can handle any of that if we have the open conversation with them and create the expectation, but also help them understand, but here's why, because we get to pour into these people, or because if I can make X by this date, then we can do that thing together. And then they're on board. They're not just, a lot of times we treat our kids as like bystanders.
Yeah.
But if we can include them in the conversation, and the same is true with adults, right? We're all the same.
Sure.
Like, just tell me what to expect and help me to understand why.
Mm.
I might be disappointed. I might be frustrated. But the sooner that we do that, the sooner that we can get people on board with reality and what needs to happen, whether they're buying a home in a competitive market, Hey, I actually learned a valuable lesson from my dentist, Dr. Farrow in Monroe Street. Shout out. He's awesome. But I was sitting in his chair one time and he's, hey, this is going to hurt for a second and you're going to be okay. I was like, noted. I'm like, this is okay.
This is
like,
gonna hurt and you're gonna be okay.
and you're going to be fine. As long as I trust you. I trust your competency. So, hey, this is going to be uncomfortable. I promise that you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to navigate this.
Yeah, boy, you know what? That's great advice. And I remember I've had some experiences recently, actually, that maybe I was feeling overwhelmed or struggling with something. And you know what? Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just take a deep breath, take it all in. Yeah, this is tough and this is challenging. And I'm going to be okay.
I'm going to be okay. Yeah, this is put it in perspective of life and things that really matter. And this is going to be uncomfortable. I really screwed this thing up, man. I got to make this right. Or I misspoke, or whatever it might be. And and you know what? The people around me love me.
Yep.
My life is headed in the right direction.
Yep.
Like or if it's just pressure, the statement I heard recently was that pressure is a privilege.
Right.
And if I'm feeling pressure, it's almost always because someone's entrusted important things to me. And what's the alternative? That there be no pressure, that there be no expectations. I'm not interested in that kind of life. So then I'm like, all right, bring the pressure. Let me put it in perspective and let's do what we have to do.
Yeah, no, you talk about pressure. I was thinking about what you said too, in terms of make things right. I know sometimes, and maybe I've experienced it myself. I've also noticed it sometimes in other people, and I'm not pointing anybody out, but I know I've experienced it in myself, and I'll just go from there first. But I know sometimes maybe you have some bad news and you don't want to deliver that.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yes.
You don't want to. So you sit on it for a little bit and you hem and haw. Should I have this conversation? Maybe I'll work on this marketing piece first, or I'll work on that first, and then I'll do that, and then eventually
I'll clean the kitchen.
I'll
wash my car.
Let me let the dog out. Yeah.
Go for a run.
Yeah, go for a run. Do all those things. But sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet, eat that frog, 100%. Go for it, and just have that courage to really just make things right. And if you screwed something up or whatever it might be, deliver that bad news. I think you just gotta really go for it.
Yeah.
And just know that whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and it will be okay. But I have to, don't sit on that would be my encouragement.
Totally. So a book, you've probably heard of Chris Voss wrote Never Split the Difference, former CIA negotiator. You got that up there. And then
we're reading a lot of the same stuff here.
And then Full Fee Agent.
Yeah.
Chris Voss, and blanking on the primary writer for that one's name. So good. Full Fee Agent is such a great resource, but gives translates Never Split the Difference into like real estate agent speak. Yeah. And some good scripting. And so anyway, I was in ChatGPT recently. I was working through some challenging negotiations, both with the seller. The list agent was losing his mind, and my client was some challenging circumstances. And so I'm in ChatGPT. Hey, coach me in the voice of Chris Voss. Here's the situation. This is what we need to get to. So in the Full Fee Agent or Never Split the Difference framework, help me to articulate this. And it spat out, okay, here's the framework for strategic empathy, labeling, and then I forget the third term, like a constructive question or a calibrated question. So how can we move through this? And just having that framework and the scripting, I think also built my confidence that I'm not just shooting from the hip. I've got my bullet points out, I make the call, and then I can work through it. Yeah. I find it so helpful just to have some helpful scripting and a framework to work through that. But that's been a helpful resource for me recently, working through several deals or getting some offers accepted that I was like genuinely surprised by, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think those are both great books, great resources too. I've read this one, I think, several times, and I think it's a great book. I think everybody should read it, honestly, whether you're a realtor or not. I think
totally parent.
One of the and what I love about it too is the title is kind of a misnomer, right? Never split the difference, meaning you're in this gridlock position. I'm never gonna give away my half kind of thing, but that's not really it at all. And the theme I remember that still stands out to me that I love is the concept of that's right, meaning there's a meeting of the minds, right?
Yes.
Not for I'm right. It's about
you want to hear the other party say that, like you're mirroring to them empathetically. Like it sounds like this is the case. Is that right? That's right. Okay, now we're on the same page, right?
Now we're on the same page. Totally. And I think I know that when I've done that exact kind of mirroring and understanding and empathetic listening with clients and even co-brokes that I'm negotiating with,
Yeah,
anything, like I think you get to a better place of mutual understanding so much faster and so much better, that to me that's worth everything in this book. And that was one of
totally.
my biggest takeaways for sure. So that's
Yeah. And I think that's an important, especially for any newer agents or agents who are feeling challenged, or maybe they're going through
yeah,
some mindset, life changes. But
yeah,
just like when I got into this business, I decided that I was going to approach it with unguarded friendliness. I was going to
yeah,
say, you know what? I'm going to approach this like wholeheartedly. When I speak to
yeah.
any agent on the phone, I'm just like, hey, you might not know me yet, but we're going to be friends. And then the other parties, what do you want from me? Like,
Friends, I'm your enemy. No.
and that's just like such the wrong mentality, right? That kind of enemy competitor. Are we competitors? Yeah, but you know what? There's so much business out there
Sure.
that you and I are doing like a small percentage of
Yeah.
within our MLS. And
Yeah.
even the agents who are crushing it, like there's so much more growth, but just this mindset of competition and kind of
Yeah.
opposition is just it's just a wrong approach. And if we can collaborate, there are some agents out there who like, if they're on the other side, yeah, my guard is going to be up, right? I'm going to be like, hey, I'm watching everything. I'm making sure our contract is firm,
Yeah.
everything is secure, and we're watching our back. But that's not my general disposition. It's, hey,
Sure.
Josh, how can we make this work for our clients? And
Yep.
you know what happens at the end of that? We both happen to get paid. Isn't that a great life to live?
Yeah.
That's what I want to be involved in.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think I mean, it's an interesting, right? Cooperative and competitive business at the same time.
Yeah.
And we have not as much the sharing commissions as we had prior to a year ago, but like our commissions are still there. It's not like
Yeah.
buyer agents have suddenly gone away. Buyer agents are still getting paid and listing agents are
Mhm.
still getting paid. And there's still two deals on a lot of deals, that most deals I'm involved in anyway. They're still having two agents involved. And so I think there is an opportunity out there. And I think there's always going to be an opportunity, because the general public, they want people like yourself, like me, and like other guests we've had on the show, right? People that are dedicated to their profession, people that are successful, but also listen and understand and are willing to help work through some of these challenges. And whether
Yeah.
it's, like you said, a tough inspection, right? How do we approach these things, right? I think the real estate business is one that most people don't move every 7 to 10 years. Now I think the average is like 15 or 20 years. Geez,
Right.
where like people are staying in their home forever because they locked in at 3% interest rates during
Right. Right.
COVID. The average just went way up. And now I think our expertise is going to be needed that much more for sure.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So tell me, so just for context, I'm just curious. So like what kind of, if you're comfortable sharing any kind of numbers or anything, just like business wise, what maybe were you doing when you first started? And then how do you think you ramped up where you're at almost 5 years later?
Yeah, so my start was a little bit wild. Like I mentioned, Tony, I jumped on his team,
Yeah.
and this is heading into 2021, and we were going hard on Zillow. And
Yeah.
I made a decision at that point, and this is maybe not ideal or advised, but I made the decision because we had this kind of lead flow and we had old leads that we could reach out to, that I was gonna try to build expertise before I went to my sphere and my own database. And so the phone was ringing on Zillow, and anytime it rang, I was hitting it hard. And we were getting leads from
Sure.
Dave Ramsey, and I was like hitting those hard. Anything I could get my hands on, any phone number, I was just like locking myself in the closet, going for it. And that first year, I don't remember the exact number, closed something like 40 deals, some
Yeah.
35, 40 deals, and which was you're learning, everything is new, going hard. I'd have an afternoon where I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm showing these 5 buyers
Yeah.
homes in from 4 to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And the market was competitive and crazy, but I think I was naive enough to not know what I didn't know when it came to like
Totally.
what was normal in the market. So I think that allowed
Yeah.
me to just jump in and just say, hey, this is what needs to happen, and have conversations with people the same way that I would in a different context of, hey, you're doing
Right.
this hard thing, let me advise you, this is what it's going to take to succeed. Primarily working with buyers at that time. And so that flow of transactions has stayed pretty consistent for
Okay.
me, of in the anywhere from like 33 to 37
Sure.
to 40. I think this year I'm at something like 35, 36
Okay.
closing pending deals.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the rest of the year holds. So that, but obviously that was a big question mark going independent, was like, where are the leads going to come from? What's
Right.
going to happen with the business? Is it going to, we
Yeah.
turn off the Zillow tab, then what's going to happen?
Yep.
All those are looming questions. And I think just having the critical pieces in place
Yeah.
and at some point just taking the risk and believing that like, all right, this is, we're going to do the work and make this happen is
For sure.
necessary.
Yeah, first off, hats off to you, man. I didn't do 40 deals in my first year. And so I just want to commend you for that, but also just having the courage to really bet on yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to go in all in on this. Yeah, I got to invest some resources or money or part of your split or whatever it might be to really make this happen. But there's opportunities out there if you approach it, I think, with that same
Totally.
mindset, right? Because you
Yep.
went in and said, you know what, if there's a phone number, I'm calling them and I don't care
Right.
what happens. I'm not asking people to sponsor me in Africa. I'm asking them if they want to buy a house.
Right,
They
right.
inquired
To do
on
something
Zillow, for
that they
God's sakes.
already want to do. They
It's something
already
they
want
already
to do
want
it.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for calling me. This is something
Right.
I want to do. Yeah, actually, I am interested. So I think having that mindset, I did, like I said, I wouldn't do near that many when I first started. I forget the exact number. I should look it up, but I probably did it definitely less than that. But I didn't have a lot of success my first year, maybe year and a half in the business. And mainly because I didn't really approach it with that same mindset in that first year. I was halfway in. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
even sure if I wanted to be
It's
a
tough.
realtor.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. And I was young, I was in my young 20s, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll do this. And I'm waiting
Yeah.
tables on the side, and I'm like
Yeah.
working this other part-time gig, and I'm like just halfway.
Yeah.
But then I remember a distinct shift happened after about a year and a half or so. And I had that mental shift that you're talking about, right? And it's okay, yeah, if we're gonna do this, let's hit the gas and
Go all
go.
in.
And
Yeah.
then that was when my business really started to take off.
Mhm.
It still took me, it wasn't maybe as immediate, but I think at that point, that's when you start to notice and start to look for the opportunities, right? Because they're
Yeah.
there, right? Okay,
Totally.
here's these lead opportunities,
Yep.
here's this, here's that. Like, how many more things
And
can I
that's
continue to find?
critical. That's the mindset, right? Like that we know this whole idea of confirmation bias. Like we'll find what we're
Yeah.
looking for and we have to decide what we're looking for. My 14-year-old daughter, we're driving down Stoughton Road the other day. She's like, oh, another Bronco. What they're torturing me. She loves these lifted Broncos.
Yeah.
Ford Bronco. She's like, oh, they're torturing me. And I was like, turn this into this like dad moment, right? Where I was
Yeah.
like, why you're seeing them everywhere is because that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I see those Subarus everywhere too, and I hate those. And I was like, okay, stick with me. But it's true though, right? If we wake up every day and we're like, you know what, there's opportunity out there, and with a like heart of gratitude and ready to receive, there's so much out there if we have eyes to see it.
Yeah.
And I agree, just approaching it like that, it just sets us up. And just to be clear, like I think that there are agents out there who've been camping out in a team or within a context where they're plateaued and they need to make that leap. But also there's agents who just need to like get over their ego and hop on a team and just have the support. And I don't think there's anything wrong with either. And I'm so grateful that I had the chance to jump into a great team and it just expedites the learning and it just speeds up so many things and just sets you up for success. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being a part of a great team.
Totally.
Forever. And it's just a matter of what's the best fit for an individual.
Yep.
I really, from the beginning, like I just had my vision was more of like an entrepreneurial approach. And even being a part of a team, I saw it as my business that I was running, and my commission splits that I paid out, I was seeing those as expenses of my business that was well worth it. Like I was happy to pay in that commission split to the team because I wouldn't have had the opportunity to begin with without that leadership and guidance.
I think that's a great perspective to think about, and a healthy perspective, right? If you're not investing some portion of your hard-earned commission into your business, whether that's additional marketing, leads, admin, training, hiring, or something, then you should maybe consider investing some of that into maybe a team-based business where that team leader is investing those dollars into those items to help run the business, because
it's all an investment.
It's all an investment. And I think you choose to invest in one or the other, but I think if you're choosing not to invest in anything, that's a bigger problem and a bigger question. But
it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
But I remember that was that. I remember something that was something that was a big aha light bulb moment for me, because I remember when I first started too, I was like afraid to invest in marketing and leads or anything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what should I? Am I just flushing the money down the toilet? Is it really worth it? I don't know. And I was scared almost to invest that money. But I think for me at the time, I took 10% of whatever I was hoping to make, put my annual budget together and say, okay, if I'm going to make X 100,000 a year or whatever I'm going to make, 10% of that, 10,000 a year divided by 12 should be 8,000 a month or whatever it is. And then it was like almost freeing for me to say, okay,
so good.
I should invest in this much a month in something. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it's Zillow, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's an event, maybe it's a mailing, maybe it's past client marketing, maybe whatever it might be. But I think pick a percentage, pick a number that you're comfortable with, that you're like, yeah, I'm going to invest X amount into my marketing of my business because I'm a business person.
This is a business?
Wait, this is a business, not just a hobby.
And I think it's so good. And that was like, if I was to go back, how long has it been since before I launched and went independent? I think one thing that I would do differently is just start from a much stronger cash position. Sure. And that's if possible. I think Warren Buffett talks about building a moat around your business, or he looks for businesses that have a moat around them, and just that buffer to withstand any ups and downs, to sleep better at night, but also, like you were saying, to be able to invest into the business. And I forget where this analogy of the rocket ship, that like a rocket ship consumes most of its fuel at takeoff, and tons of fuel, jet, whatever it might be, consumes most of its fuel at takeoff, and then it's at cruising altitude or leaves
the atmosphere,
its orbit, right? And then it's cruising along. And the same is true for business. The same is true for life. That like when we're launching, it's just like it's resource intensive, time, attention, money, and your business needs that, right? It's like building a fire. You start with kindling, and that kindling burns fast and hot, and then to slowly build it up, and so where you can get to the point where you can put logs on that fire and it'll be sustaining and feed you and give you warmth and light and all that good stuff. But the business is very like resource intensive as you're starting, but it's very challenging to start from a place of scarcity. When you're trying, there's a big difference between saving and investing, right? And when you're focused on saving money versus, like you said, growing in terms of marketing and like listing, whatever it might be, hiring a TC, hiring a VA, whatever it might be, man, it's so critical for growth. But when you're trying to when you're operating from a place of
scarcity and hanging on to every little dollar, it's not good.
It's just, that's a hard place to be. And but that is of course, that's a reality at times. It is a hard place to grow from.
Yeah, it is a hard place to grow from. And it's hard to, if you're not maybe having enough closings and maybe not having your business maybe where you want it to be, it sometimes can be hard to let go of some of those resources to reinvest some of those dollars. But I think that's why it's been helpful for me to almost overshoot how much I think I need, because then there is the money there to hopefully spend and reinvest and that kind of thing. But sometimes you got to have a correction too. I definitely actually a year ago was a down year for me for sure, and we scaled back on certain things. Just had to make some tighter corrections in terms of what we were spending and what we were doing, and that's part of the business too, and part of the nature. Don't be afraid to invest, but also scaling back as needed.
Pay attention. That's good.
Yeah, I like that for sure. Cool, man. Let's see. So I want to shift gears a little bit, because I know one of the things you'd mentioned before we jumped on the call was like, you've really nailed, and sounds like you've been really good about having really good quality of life and good family, community time. And if you're, as you started, right, you were taking every opportunity you possibly could just to build the business. And now we were just talking about kindling and adding more kindling to this fire to get this grow. But now you're in a sort of a different phase, and you're thinking more, okay, I don't need to do 100 deals. If I stay close to 30, 40, 50, whatever it might be, that's comfortable and I can manage that quality of life. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I think I'm on a journey to discover that. And it'd be interesting to ask the people closest to me what they think about my pace and quality of life. But no, I'm at a place where I'm trying to make room for other people to thrive, as well as freeing up my own time, and looking at what my own personal production looks like, and what can be how others can be empowered and come into the picture as well. So as I build my team, that's something I'm very mindful of. But I think that life, I was just reviewing another book, shout out 12-week year. I was just reviewing the 12-week year, and they make this comment about how life is not like life balance is a myth, like tension. You look at anybody, if I'm balancing in the gym, what you'll really see is this twitch constantly happening. And that's what it feels like, right? Where we're like constantly
Yeah.
under tension and shifting, and muscles are working hard, when what looks like balance from the outside really is this internal work of like, all right, am I paying attention to the right thing? Where's my head? Where's my heart?
Sure.
And so it's a constant tension. And like my family is critical in that process for me. I think that, like I was saying before, like kids can handle anything if they know what to expect. And I think that there's times we have honest conversation like, hey, for this next couple of months, my priority is here.
Sure.
And my family's at the core of my life, and my faith and my relationship with God is at the core of my life.
Yeah.
But there are times when my time and my attention need to be primary. If it's harvest time, it's go time, and my time and my attention are there, and my heart is still rooted here. And if these things get compromised, then everything else falls apart, right?
Mm.
We've seen that, we've experienced that, where like the internal stuff falls apart, and what happens next? The business crumbles, right?
Sure.
So those things need to be intact. But there are times where priority needs to be here, it needs to be there, it needs to be on my health to recover, or I'm in chemo and I need to prioritize recovery, or
Totally.
whatever it might be, addiction recovery, whatever the real stuff. But so I think that like having that space and buffer within our families and our own lives to say like, all right, it's go time in business, and right now it's go time with family, and like the flexibility to shift that. But I think that, and especially as we're growing, I was
Is there
meditating.
something, can you be more specific maybe? Is there something you feel like to kind of help set those expectations or manage it or put limits on it even? Or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, good question. So I think in some of it's just dialogue, and having like at the beginning of the year, something that we do as a family is we'll roll out this big butcher paper on the table. We're
Yeah.
like, all right, guys, let's just dream about this year.
Yep.
And everybody has a chance to write out and draw out like, here's what I want to do this year, here's things I want to grow in, things I want to do. And some of it's I want that new pair of Jordans, or it could be like I want to learn Spanish, or but a lot of our family vision comes from that. And then we talk about our family values of adventure, connection, abundance, and rest. So those are four things that we talk
Okay.
about a lot. Those are the parameters of, are we, so then there's those questions of, are we operating in these? What were our dreams for the year? What are we shooting for? And then we distill those as much as possible into plans and
Yeah.
routines. And then checking in, are we operating according to these things? Or are they just aspirational? And not just if, but when we get off track, have some things to come back to. So those conversations are helpful, and then laying those plans, and then the daily and weekly routines of connection. Like my wife and I will sit together just about every morning, and we work out together 3 times a week, and we go on a date and have our meeting once a week. And I take a date with one of my kids once a week. We do dinner together as much as possible as a family. Maybe that's 3, maybe that's 2 times a week. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 5.
Yeah.
And we try to practice Sabbath together, where we just take time to rest, and we say, it's enough.
Yep.
We don't need to pursue more. It's enough. Let's be together
Yeah.
and with each other, with people that we love. And those, I think just like those routines and practices, more than another like methodology, like those routines and practices that are rooted in the things that are most important, I think are the things that provide constant feedback. If we're like sitting together on a Sunday afternoon and I'm twitchy and on my phone the whole time, like my 17-year-old daughter's like, hey, screenager, what are you doing on your phone the whole time? What are you doing over there? My kids start to harass me.
Screenager. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah,
I don't think I've
yeah.
heard that yet.
Okay.
I don't have screenagers yet. Or I have a
Well,
14-year-old, but
yeah, yeah. But I think like those routines and practices are the
yeah.
things that kind of keep me rooted, as well as close
Yeah.
friends, staying rooted in community, people who have every, and this is maybe not an exact answer to your question, but this
Yeah.
is some things that come to mind, like having people in my life who have full access. That's
Yeah.
what I think of when I think of community. People who have full access to my life, who have the ability to call me out, who know where I want to go, and they have the ability to hold
Yeah.
me accountable to that. And they also have the ability to say, hey, you need to chill, you need to calm down, like you're chasing hard after this business thing. You can ask people close to me, like I'm ambitious, and that can run away
Yeah.
from me, that can get away from me. And I've had some times where I've gotten burned
Yeah.
because that's just gotten a little bit carried away with what I'm reaching for.
Sure.
And those times of correction are critical to come back to and
Yeah.
are a gift to be able to learn from.
Yeah, no, that's a great message for sure. I think I'm hearing a lot of your story, just family and faith at the core, and I think it's totally important. And I think it's sometimes can get lost if you are just starting out or just feeling driven.
Totally.
You want to succeed, right? Hey, I got this goal and I want to try to achieve, and I'm going to do this, and it's for my family. Don't you get it?
Oh,
Right?
don't you know it's for you?
Yeah.
Like there was a Bluey episode that blew me
Yeah.
away. I don't know if you've seen Bluey at all, kids
Yeah.
show. And they're gonna move, and the dad's like, I'm doing this to give you a better life. And the kid's, I don't want a better life. I want the life I've got. I was like, oh no. So
Oh,
real.
killer. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But I've had definitely phases in my life where I've compromised some of those too, and I've compromised having some of those routines that you're talking about, and periods in my marriage and relationship where we have struggled and haven't always met each other or missed our date nights and just forgot about it because I get busy, and then the phone rings, and then this happens, and then an appointment happens, and then you find yourself compromising too much. And I think that's the hard part about this business. It can turn into absolutely a 7-day a week business.
Yeah.
There's right open houses a lot of times are Sundays, and we also want to go to church on Sunday or do something else on Sunday
Take
or
a walk,
take
sleep.
a walk. Who knows? Yeah, do something else, right? Like maybe I don't want to do an open house, but there's this built-in culture in some ways that can create a business can allow people to work 7 days a week. And I think
Yeah.
it's a dangerous path, and it's a slippery path. I've done it. I'm guilty of it, but I've also recognized when I'm doing it too much, and I try real hard when I do that is to hit the brakes. And I think everybody deserves at least 1 day off a week, probably more than that. Occasionally, if you're not taking maybe a couple days off a month, something's wrong. Maybe you need to do a little gut check in yourself. But
Yeah.
there's those times, like I was just away. I was grateful to be able to travel out to Colorado. I love going out to the mountains. I've loved it for years. And I come back from something like that after just being gone a few days. I wasn't gone a full week or anything, but it was just like a long weekend. And it's just so restorative and energizing that it's a total game changer. And now I'm sitting on this conversation with you, and I'm tapping into some of my follow-up calls and people I need to talk to in my business. And I'm just so much more at peace and energized. And so I think having those regular sort of breaks and routines and schedules, I think is great. And I think the other thing I loved about your story is you sit down once a year and say, what do we want to do? What's our dream? What an open book. What an invitation. Like I don't think enough people do that.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you put together New Year's resolutions, maybe you don't, but involve your family, involve your
Right.
kid. What a cool experience for them. So I just want to say that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, thanks. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I think that this business it's a beast, and like the challenge of this is it can be all you want it to be.
Yeah.
And it can get away from us. And the nature of the market that we exist in is very fast paced. It's now go and high stakes. And that's great. Again, back to your point at the beginning of the conversation, that's why people look to us, right? So that's great. We welcome that. But and it's something I love about this business is that it creates the opportunity for us to become more of who we want to be. And so I was talking with a teenage kid recently who's interested in real estate, and he was like, it sounds like all of the things. I was like, hey, you gotta have hard conversations, confrontation, walk with people through hard things. And he goes, it sounds like these are all things that you'd want to grow in your life anyway. And again, I was like, yeah, you're gonna be just fine. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
But it's
you're right. If you can get good at these, that's pretty good. Yeah.
But this business provides great opportunity for feedback for us of like, how are we doing? Being the person who I want to be, who I'm called to be, and just constant practice and opportunity to do that. And that's what I want more of in this business, is that it shapes me more into who I want to be. But it can also there's no neutral, right? There's no, in this world, in this life, in this business, there's a stream, a current flowing that we're standing in, and you're either like getting pushed downstream just in whatever's happening in the market and the headlines, the frenzy, our clients' drama, whatever it might be, or we're moving where we want to go, standing firm. And I'll just be honest, like all this for me is not, I'll just throw this out. This is not all rosy, right? Like I've done I've done some deep work in my life, working through the challenges, the traumas of childhood, the failure, like all that stuff. There's some deep waters. And if anybody's ever interested in chatting with me about that, I'm happy to share, because those things are just create the foundation. It's not like in my business, hey, we have this conversation and everything's great and rosy. There's battles that we fight, all of us, every day. And those things exist with deep roots and all of our experiences, our childhood and our backgrounds and all that stuff. And so what I love about this business is that it creates the opportunity for me to continue to tap into those things and continue to be able to grow and be more of who I am called to be, where it really matters in my family and my community. And my friendships, and the business just facilitates that. And I welcome that. It's good.
Yeah, for sure, man. I like that. Yeah, this is a business that will allow you to dig deep if you allow it.
Yeah. Dig deep. Yeah. And you'll find something there. It's just a matter of what you're
oh boy. Yeah, you haven't had challenges yet? Just keep going. No.
So true. So true.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, cool, man. We've been talking for quite a while, I feel like, but I feel like we could talk all day. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else on your mind that you feel like we want to touch on before we kind of part ways, and maybe let our listeners hear a little bit more about that we haven't touched on already?
I think I would just say this. I was thinking on this earlier, and this may resonate with some people, may not, but I'll throw it out there. I think that all of our actions flow from within. They flow from our sense of identity and our core beliefs. And if you want to know what you believe, look at your actions, look at your schedule, ask the people closest to you. And I think that identity is a core part of that. And I'll often, even to be candid, like in a conversation I'm having, like a challenging conversation or negotiation, it makes me nervous. Maybe it's some monster agent on the other end who's just a production beast. I'm just like, oh, I'm intimidated. This imposter syndrome sets in, and I'm just like, oh, I got to call this guy or this lady, and she intimidates me. And I'll pause and think like, all right, what's true here? And I'll have like a deep moment in the Whole Foods parking lot or whatever quick trip parking lot I'm in or whatever. And just, hey, what? And for me, this looks like prayer. God, what do you want me to know about the situation? And what do you want me to do? And most times like that, the first part of that prayer, the thing that kind of resonates in my heart, what do you want me to know? It's often that you're my son and that you're loved. It's some variation of that. And it's almost, and then, okay, what do you want me to do? Then it's often, I'm ready. If I can hear that, then I'm ready to take the action I need to take. I can find the courage, I can find the grace to confront, to receive the correction, whatever it might be. But that kind of, those questions and that prayer has been critical for me, and has led to some things like making things right, or maybe I've gotten off track, but it's also led, lo and behold, to a lot of successful situations where we're able to put a deal together and make things work. And then lo and behold, I get paid on the end of that. What a gift. Sure. But I think that just having that, I think a lot of folks in this business, they need the opportunity to stop and pause and really think deeply about the questions of identity. Who am I? Where am I going? What am I about? And then the action, the right words will flow from that. Oftentimes we're trying to replace a hollow core with scripting and process and ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever your go-to AI of choice. If we're starting from a deep place of like drawing from like deep wells of like identity and contentment and joy, then the other things are going to take care of themselves. I really believe that.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that's a big part of this business for sure. And identity is super important. I know that's one of the things we do when any agent joins our team. We have them write a bio, right? Like write their identity statement about them. And I don't care what it is, whatever their background is, but what is it that makes them who they are?
Yes.
And people need to resonate with that, and just put yourself out there and stand firm in that of who you are as an authentic person, and know that. And definitely figure out who you are as a person and what you're all about, and that you are empowered to help people in this business. You're a great agent because of your background, and I'm a great agent because of my background. Therefore, whatever it is, put that together.
Own it. Yeah.
That you just own it 100%. And that because ultimately, I think that's what clients want for sure. They just want you They want you authentically you 100% and to advocate for them, of course, and help them through this process of buying or selling a home. But they want your authenticity, I think. So showing up with that for sure. So I love that.
Absolutely. So good.
Yeah, definitely. Cool, man. I really enjoyed this conversation, Michael.
Yeah, likewise. I appreciate your time and again, creating this space for us, for agents who are out here, and this your collaborative mindset and approach to this, I think it's a bright spot in our community. So appreciate it.
Cool. Yeah, no, I appreciate the comments. And it's definitely about growth and just continue constant improvement and what we can do to get better. And when it's not always about doing the hundreds of $1,000,000 on stage, right? What do we need to do to really just grow from whatever position we're at? Because I think sometimes I've been to some of the big conferences and the big stages, right? You see these, we did 500 deals last year. And you're like, how the heck? What's going on? I can't, get back to that.
How much did you walk away with is what I want to know.
What was the net? Yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about that.
How much did you sleep and what did you make?
That's true. Yeah. No, I've heard certainly some stories of that, right? Yeah. We sold 500 and we spent everything on trying to get the leads in the business and it weren't really that profitable. So was it worth it? And maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, that's a different
another conversation.
Another conversation. Yeah. So I'll maybe we'll invite one of those people on our show at some point.
There you go.
They can share their insight of profitability and insight.
There you go. I'll queue that one up. Just let me know when.
Cue that one up. Yeah, I'll let you know when it's going to be for sure. Yeah, but I think wherever you're at in your business, if you're just doing a handful of deals, I think it's definitely some of the things that stood out to me out of our conversation, right? If you're looking to grow, you got to be all in, right? You're starting this business, whatever it is, it's like starting a small campfire, right? Add the kindling, do as much as you can to get going, tap into the right marketing or team or whatever it might be to get you started, get things going, but also looking at your background of where you're at. I loved your background. And I think wherever anybody else is too, it's like taking the skills and resources people learn in their past to bring that to where they're at now. I also noticed we talked about a ton of different books, right? We already mentioned we read a bunch of the different books. It's holy cow. If you're not reading books and learning and growing, you're missing the boat. There's so much opportunity out there to grow your business. So much. Absolutely. So I love that. So those were some of the things that stood out to me. And if there's anything else that I missed or anything else that stood out to you, Michael?
No, man, I'm inspired. Let's go get after it today.
Yeah, let's go get after it. Very cool. I appreciate you again coming on our show.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, this is our show for today, the Better Agent Podcast. So if you enjoyed this and you want to hear more about how to grow your real estate business and tap into the insight of our guests, then tune in next time. And without further ado, that's our show for today on the Better Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Vik, here with Michael Leeson today. So thank you much. Thanks for tuning in to the Better Agent Podcast. I hope you found today's insights valuable. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for more tips, Q&A sessions, and sneak peeks into our 21-day challenge. To get full access of our show notes and more details on the 21-day challenge, go to abetterrealestateexperience.com. Keep striving for greatness, and I'll see you on the next episode.